Well, hey there, my farmer friends. It's Corinna. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I am popping in today to do this week's tutorial for you. It's going to be a short one. I am doing part one of probably a three-part series here, all about using your current CSA members right now in the heat of the season to help you create social proof. Okay, you have a really powerful opportunity to leverage the people that are in your CSA that are loving it, that are having a great experience, to help you find new customers for maybe even this season, but perhaps start warming up your future customers for next season. So while the season is in full swing, while there's a lot of excitement about your product, there are things you can do now to leverage your current customers so they help you sell your CSA in the future. And I want to talk to you today just about one of those things. There's probably three that I can think of, but I'm just going to focus on one. So thanks for joining me. I know normally I jump in on Mondays, but I have family visiting in town from Germany, and so mornings at 8 a.m. are a little crazy around here, so I'm going to do it today. So let me just remind you that one of the four primary reasons that people buy is social proof. And we've talked about this in another training video, which you can look up. It's one of my more popular trainings, The 4 Reasons People Buy. You can find that in the Facebook group. And the reason why social proof is such a big deal is because, as you know, before you go and make a big purchase, before you shell out money and put yourself on the line, you want to make sure that what you're buying works. And so you'll go and read the reviews, right, of Amazon. You'll go and see what other people think about something before you buy, especially if it's a high-ticket item. This is just human nature. And this is one of the things that we do to try and lower the risk for ourselves before we buy a product. So social proof is a big deal. And as a marketer, as a business owner, you want to try and find ways to leverage that social proof, get it to work for you. Hey, Tom, good to see you. Hi, glad you're here. So one of the things that I've been doing quite a bit lately that's really working well for me, a way to kind of leverage that social proof for you, is to include members in your content creation, the results of your members in your content creation. And so there are lots of different ways to do that. Let me give you a few examples of things that I've seen done but that I'm also doing. So when I write my weekly blog post, for instance, one of the things that I sometimes do is I drop in the name of one of my CSA members and I say, hey, so-and-so is making this with beet greens and I wanted to share it with you. Or, I give credit to an idea for the blog post to one of my members. And in doing so, I highlight how my members are actually engaged, how our product is giving them results, and how they're helping the community grow. So when you write your blog post, you can have an entire blog post that is inspired by something that one of your members did in your CSA, and you write about it and you give them credit. You talk about what they taught you or an idea that they gave you for how to cook this particular vegetable. Okay, so that's one suggestion. You could share something that one of your members has posted in the Facebook group, or maybe they've commented on it. So here's an example from our CSA a couple weeks ago. One of my members, Bob Cini, he's a huge Rancho Gordo bean fan. He likes to make beans. And so he shared with somebody had posted something about greens, what to do with all these greens. And then he posted a picture of how he was stewing a pot of beans with some greens that had wilted down. And it kind of stirred a whole bunch of comments like, what is this? You do this? How do you do that? And so I talked about Bob several times later. I gave him credit. I thanked him for that. And I've actually directed Katie, our community manager in our private Facebook group, to create a video this coming week, a video tutorial about how to use greens and beans together, and to do a very short, like 3 or 4 minute tutorial. And we're going to put that in our Facebook group. And I told her, when you do this, I want you to give props to Bob. I want you to talk about how Bob is the one who inspired this. Okay, and that does several things, because it shows the community that they too could be featured at some point. It shows the community that other people are doing really great things, that other people are succeeding in CSA, and it gives them something to aspire to. Okay, so if you see your members doing something in your private group, or if they post something or they talk about something, highlight it, and maybe even do a training about it. Let it inspire you. Another example that came up this past week was beet hummus. So I had this woman named Erin post a picture of her beet hummus that she had made using our beets. And it was gorgeous. It was like this bright pink. I saved the picture, then I posted it on Instagram, and I talked about Erin and how Erin did this really cool thing. She made beet hummus. And I don't think most people think of making beet hummus. So I just thought it was a really novel idea. And again, I took that, I gave her credit, and in the way I wrote my post in Instagram, I talked about how our CSA is full of members who are sharing cool ideas for how to use food in unusual ways. And I also posted that later on my business page in Facebook, again, giving credit to Erin House, and talked about how we teach you all different kinds of ways to use vegetables, and then kind of plugged our CSA or our academy, which is our virtual online teachable.com site where we teach people how to eat the food we eat, membership. So again, I'm just looking for ways to take my members and their content and reposting it and showing people how it gets results, how our community is actually growing and using food in creative ways, and it casts vision for people who might one day want to be your customer, okay? And then finally, case studies. Actually, I have two more. You can use a case study. So if you have a particular member who has grown a ton, like they started out like way over here, and then after like 6 weeks, they are just gangbusters about how to use local food, and they're just talking all the time about how they've changed. You can use that as a case study. You can talk about that in a live video. You can have them with you on a video. You could write a blog post. So just be looking for stories of life change and transformation in your customers and try to share them. Finally, this is one of my favorites. I don't do it a ton. I should do it more. It takes a little bit of time to orchestrate, but invite a member onto a live video with you as an expert. So last year I did this maybe 3 or 4 times. I invited one person who was an expert at fermentation, and I went over to her house, into her kitchen, and she did a sauerkraut live training with me in her kitchen. And it was, again, a very popular video, and I put it into my membership site later on so people can access it and watch it, over and over and over again if they want. I had another one with the same Bob Cini, and he taught people how to make a basic pan sauce. So I went over to his house and we filmed that, and I put that on YouTube, and I also put it in my membership site on Vimeo. So those are just 2 that come off the top of my head. But if you have people that are really good at certain things, you'll be able to tell that they're good because they're posting all the time. They're putting really beautiful pictures of the food they eat. Or maybe I got this one guy who's grilling all the time, and I want to ask him, can I come over to your house and do a tutorial on how to grill vegetables? Because I'm not a huge grilling expert. I don't want to pretend to be. So if I bring a member alongside me and have him be the expert, wow, how powerful that is. It shows your CSA members that there are some powerful people in this group. There are some people who are really know their stuff, and that really changes the whole spectrum of the CSA experience. You can see how I'm really leveraging my private Facebook group and kind of using that as a big feature of my membership. A lot of cool stuff is happening back there. And every now and then I pull out a nugget and I put it on the business page and let people know what's going on in there. So using your own members as examples for your content creation, it does a few things. I've already hinted at a few of them, but here's why this works so well. Okay, number one, by highlighting other members doing this stuff, it's not just you being the expert, you're showing the public, you're showing your potential new CSA members that this works, that this CSA thing, it works, and that people who try it, who get involved, they transform the way they eat, okay? And they're cooking really cool stuff. So that is, ultimately what you're all about. You want to give people results. You want to show them, I'm going to be able to teach you how to eat differently. So when you highlight members that are doing it, it shows people this works, okay? That's social proof. Second of all, it positions you as the guide, right? And we've talked about that a lot in prior trainings. You want to be the guide. You are not the hero. So if you're walking alongside these other people and you're showing them, here, I've created these people. I've helped to develop these people. Here's another person that can serve you and teach you. You are making your customer, you're reminding them that they're the hero in the story and they're going to meet their goal. Okay, number 3, it shows that there are other members in your tribe, in your community, who can add value to them. And let me tell you, that changes the value proposition for your CSA immensely. It's not just you that's going to be able to teach people, but there's a whole bunch of other people who are doing cool stuff. And that means a lot to people who are foodies, who love to try and experiment with new things. If they know that they're going to come into this private Facebook group, into this community of CSA, and not only are they going to learn from their farmer, but there's like 400 people out there that are doing cool stuff, and they're going to be inspired by it, and they're going to see ideas floating all over the place. Now I want to be a part of that. That's way more powerful than just one person with a few good ideas. There's a lot of persons who are foodies, who are like elite people who know how to do this, who are experts, and I'm going to have access to them in this private community. Okay, that changes the value proposition. So when you highlight what your members are doing and you talk about it, you create social proof that suddenly makes your membership look much more valuable than just a box of vegetables. Okay, so shine a light on your members this week. Find one way that you can do that. Maybe grab a post that they've shared, or maybe share a story that you've heard your members tell, and put that somewhere on your social media, or write a blog post, or do a video about it, or bring them with you behind the camera or in front of the camera and teach something, and use them to be your social proof. Remember, social proof is one of the 4 reasons that people buy. So leverage it. Create assets that will allow you to use your members and all their excitement for your product to sell more to your future customer. It's going to take a while for some of those people who are your leads to warm up enough to want to shell out the big bucks to join you. And this is one of the things you can be doing constantly every week. Do like one post where you're sharing member content, because it just keeps reminding people there are other people in this group. You should want to be a part of this tribe, because there are doers and shakers in there who are going to inspire me and help me eat better. All right, that's all for now. I'll catch you guys next week with part 2 of this series of how to use your current members and leverage social proof. All right, thanks.